This is a short, written and performed by myself, Dave Francis, for the Russett Players. It's called Dave on Dating. So dating is difficult, impossible even. Finding that right person can be difficult enough without the added pressures of baggage and all your friends settling down and having children and your family, of course, pushing you to find the one. Some have to turn to internet dating sites. Nothing wrong with it. Some of those sites are free and some of those sites do charge a subscription. It's a bit of a minefield. Not only do people elaborate, maybe, or they publish old pictures, some could lie about their age. But here's a few examples of just what could go wrong. So the army wife. Date one was okay, if not a little rushed, when at the end of the evening the babysitter had to leave. So we rushed back from Brighton and I dropped her off and we arranged to see each other again. Not too bad, you might say. The next date came round and I went to pick her up from her house, and when I arrived I noticed the glass in the front door was all missing and it was boarded up. So I knocked and went in, and on inquiry I established that her ex-husband was in the army and he was on leave at the time, and when he came round and she wouldn't let him in, he kicked the door down. I stayed for an hour, we had coffee. There was no third date. Next, we have the occasional smoker. She was a nice young lady whose profile said that she was the right age and an occasional smoker, as I said. Now, I'm not overly keen on smoking, but I understand that some people do. An occasional smoker, however, to me, would be someone who has had maybe one or two after a meal, maybe. Not 4 or 5 throughout the whole evening. So when we kissed at the end of the night, I was accused of not being involved enough. Well, darling, when your mouth is like licking an ashtray, are you surprised? Occasional smoker, my backside. I never saw her again. Then we have the early commitment. Now, things were going quite well. I'd stayed over a few times and I was just drifting off to sleep on this one particular evening, and then I heard her whisper, "I love you." What? What did you say? Nothing. That's not what I heard. I cannot believe that after 2 weeks of knowing each other, she thinks she loves me. What the? I broke up with that one via text. Now, I'm a true believer that everyone is entitled to their own political and religious beliefs. Some people may think that some beliefs are a little, well, weird or extreme. So it was date 2. We're in a bar, not far from her home. Things are going well and we're getting along. Yeah. Good sense of humour, and we've shared a laugh or two. She's a modern girl and wants to buy the next round. It's quite early in the relationship, so I'm going to be flexible. I paid for the meal after all. So from her bag she pulls out her purse along with a small doll of a man, which just happened to be caught up in her purse's handle. "What's that?" I ask. "Oh, that's the doll of my ex-husband. If he doesn't pay his monthly money, I stick a pin in it." I burst out laughing. And she smiled. And then she adds, "I'm a witch, and I practice some elements of witchcraft." So by now my laughing has increased a lot, and I didn't notice that she's no longer smiling. If anything, she was staring right at me. I'm a white witch, though. None of that dark art stuff. My laughing starts to subside a little bit because I'm beginning to think that she's actually quite serious with this. "But I know you're okay, as you stood under the pentagram when we first kissed and you weren't fazed about it at all." "What?" I ask. "The pentagram on the ceiling in my porchway. When we first kissed, you had no problem being there at all. Some people cannot wait to leave, especially salesmen or Jehovah's Witnesses. So I know you're okay. She smiles. Meanwhile, my face has gone from laughter to disbelief to utter verging on panic. Okay, I say. White? No. Deep red. She responds while her eyes continue to stare right through me. I called her to say that I didn't think it was working out for the long term. I trust there's no doll of me in her hands. Now, when you're in a relationship, sometimes it moves on without you really noticing. You know, things are good. You've met her parents, her siblings. She hadn't met mine, I would add. And time's just slipped away from you, really. First year goes past, second year goes past. And, since that first date, of course, and there's a new housing estate going on nearby. They're building it, the show homes are there. It's a Sunday afternoon and you've got nothing really to do. You think to yourself, I wonder, could I nip off, make an excuse and go and play some golf? Did feel slightly guilty thinking that. What can we do? What can we do? What can we do? Why don't we go and have a look at those new show homes at the housing estate? I suggest. Oh, okay, she agrees. Off we go. I create some story about wanting to be closer to the train line and I've got money to spend on mortgages. And we ended up looking round for very lovely show homes. Good hour passes. We have a laugh. It's a nice afternoon. A week later, you meet someone else by chance who's, let's be honest, more suited. And that 2-year relationship has probably really run its course. If you're not going to commit now, well, I called to break it off. What? She said, I don't understand. Tears in her eyes. What's there not to understand? We've run our course. It's been fun, but I think we need to move on. But we looked round show homes. I thought we were going to move in together. I thought you were going to propose. What? I don't know what went on in her mind, but to me, it was something to do on a boring Sunday. I don't know how she got there. I never saw her again. So these are just some experiences of the dangers that dating might create and that you might learn from. Internet dating can work, I would add, mainly on the subscribed sites. I know at least 2 couples who have had successful dates and are married with children. When you meet the one, you might not know it immediately, but hopefully you'll realise in time. Just beware of witches. This has been a short for the Russett Players, written and performed by Dave Francis. Thanks for watching.